Chairman Stein, thank you, and thank you for having us. Members of the committee, Metro Council members, and distinguished table sitters over in the corner. I am happy to have with me today Courtney Ross, who is in charge and responsible for our business expansion element at the Chamber, and Rita McDonald, someone who's known to all of you from frequent community contact. And we are pleased to be here today with an abbreviated presentation. I know that we've met with 36 of the 40 Metro Council members with a full presentation, which will be also available to you. But today we wanted to bring you up.
Before you begin, our threshold question does not actually apply to you because you don't live within our mayor's proposed budget. So I think the more appropriate question for you is the Chamber, I don't know if the word is satisfied, comfortable, delighted to have the continued $300,000 for 2020.
Mr. Chairman, we can fulfill the contract with the city with the $300,000 that's been suggested.
Thank you. You appropriately answered my inarticulate question. With that, you're recognized for your presentation.
Okay, thank you. It's always a pleasure to visit with you and discuss the contract that we have with Metro Nashville with regards to economic development. This is a partnership that's existed since 1991 and really represents a private and public partnership that has been leveraged over the years to promote economic prosperity throughout this area. We have a specific set of points that we'd like to make to you this morning this afternoon with regards to the results that have been generated, the nature of the contract that we have with Metro government, and then we'll be available to answer any and all of your questions. But we have in this community a city that's in demand, and so congratulations to you and appreciate your leadership on that. And I will turn the microphone over to Courtney.
Right in front of you. And I'll turn Ralph off for a minute.
Thank you, and thank you, Ralph. As you have in front of you, this is the document that I'm going to go through briefly. Hopefully you have that in front of you, and as Ralph mentioned, the full presentation that we were able to give to most of you is also available to you. On the first page, as Ralph said, I want to go through quickly the 4 slides that we have here that include the results, the specifics of the contract, and our plan for the coming year. First, with the results, in the 24-year history of partnership, we've been able to track over 300,000 new jobs that have been created. Just in the last 5 years, over 17,000 jobs have been announced in Davidson County, or 33.4%. This year, we are in the process of tallying the numbers, which we will know at the end of June. But this year, 42% of the announced projects are in Davidson County, and as Ralph mentioned, it's indeed been a very hot market for business announcements and expansions. We can't seem to pick up the newspaper or both national and local to see a ranking. Nashville MSA ranked number 1 in 2012 and number 2 in 2013 for net job growth by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And also to highlight, Time Magazine featured Nashville in the March issue, calling us the red hot town. We also have copies of that article if you're interested. We've continued we're in year 2 of our Work at Nashville campaign. As a reminder, this is the campaign to recruit technology workers to Nashville. We've had a phenomenal year with 116 million impressions worldwide, 2,000 candidates that have entered their resumes onto the site, and 228 companies, 71% of those in Davidson County have posted job openings. We know that the majority of these companies would like their technology jobs to be in Nashville, so we'll continue that work, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And then out-of-market missions, one of the major factors to our promoting Nashville as a business location. We go face-to-face in some of the high-cost markets such as California, Chicago, and New York. We did 9 of those out-of-market trips this year and 5 inbound events where we bring site selection consultants to Nashville to show them all the advantages of doing business here, as well as existing CEO events. On the next page, a little bit about the contract specifics. This is exactly what we fulfill in the contract. The project management, we have a 10-person economic development team that's an extension of what Mr. Wilshire and Mr. Parham do here at the mayor's office. As a part of that, we are focused on project management for relocation expansion projects, international business, talent development, and young professional initiatives. Our team of existing business, which I lead, focuses on Davidson County companies only. Garrett Harper and the research team is the behind-the-scenes filling out those RFIs that come in from companies as they analyze which company or which cities make the short list. We had 127 of those RFIs this year. And then we're also updating our data, which is a huge driver of these relocations and expansions on our website and content. And then also continuing those inbound, outbound events, those marketing campaigns, and promoting Nashville as an ideal business location through email, postcard campaigns, and national media. And then on the next slide, looking forward, as we continue, obviously, the work of the contract with project management, demographic research, and marketing efforts, we'll also be starting the process of developing the next 5-year strategy for Partnership 2020. That process begins in July and runs through December, where we'll be analyzing the initiatives that we need to move the economy forward. And then we'll also continue work at Nashville. We know there's an even greater need for technology talent and training in Nashville and in the region, and so we'll continue to work with that, as well as launching a new marketing campaign and collateral materials, which to the left you see the Now Nashville tagline, which we'll begin implementing in July. And then the final slide, which is a bar graph, wanted to demonstrate, again, we're asking for the continuation of the $300,000 contract. And as you see in the green bar, I believe, I have a black and white copy, but the green bar shows the $3.7 million in other private partnership funding. We've been able to leverage that public funding for that $3.7 million in private funding, which has been very important in our fundraising efforts to show that public support. So again, we appreciate that and look forward to any questions that you have.
Are we ready for questions? Ready. Councilman Tiger.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We talked a little bit about this last year, and we spoke when we talked the other day. Talk to us about, Ralph or Courtney, the investment of other cities, counties in the Middle Tennessee regional area and their commitment to this project.
Okay. Since our last conversation with the Metro Council, we've been increasing our efforts to gain further funding from those other partners in this effort. Of course, the fact that we have no contract with any of those other entities at this point, the contract exists with Metro, which creates a priority for our Metro work. But we have increased the funding from these other entities, these other counties, and part of the way that we've done that is by creating special project participation that is tagged to funding. So for instance, on our Work It campaign, Williamson County made a contribution to that effort to help fund that activity. And what that's going to help us do, these special project fundings, is get us to this next cycle of partnership funding so that as we now go into this 6th iteration of a 5-year plan, we'll be approaching those entities for a greater portion of the funding.
You say there's no contract with these other counties. Have you ever tried to I mean, I know Williamson County has their own Chamber of Commerce, but some of the smaller counties may not.
Right. And in the future, there may be an opportunity for those contracts, but at this point in time, we kind of prefer the priority that we have on this contract. And
can I also add that all of our regional communities do participate at different levels, and a combined total of $120,500 all combined contribute.
Plus the project funding.
All right, so let me shift gears now. You all have been very successful in attracting new jobs and businesses in the Antioch area, for instance, that was, had infrastructure already there, buildings and whatnot, so we see call centers and a lot of public-private investment going out there. What is the strategy in other communities that might be lagging behind now in either retail or office-type development? What strategies can other communities talk to you all about to help revitalize their areas?
Well, I'll take this first, and then I'd like Courtney to address it as well. First of all, as you see in our Work It campaign, all of the neighborhoods of Nashville are featured either in our online version of Work It or in our catalog, and that really is just kind of a manifestation of the way we approach any prospect that comes to town. They're exposed to all the opportunities across the whole range of the community. They will then identify specifically what characteristics they're looking for in a location for their business or an expansion of their business. Oftentimes, we're working along with Matt and Chris to make the opportunity, the advantages known of a specific area. For instance, if they have a specific workforce type they're looking for, or a specific geographic or physical configuration they're looking for, we'll work with them on that as well. One of the things that we find, though, as communities gain momentum in community development is the opportunity to attract private investors. When private investors are making dollar commitments to a specific area, a lot of times they will throw the resources of their businesses behind that effort as well. So in Antioch, as an example, you have an example of Ben Freeland, who's a private investor. He's a business person in the area. He's invested a good deal of money both in the real estate and the development of the area. His efforts combined with some of those, the Chamber South, for instance, group, they will actually participate. One last specific example, we just recently had a gathering down in southeast Nashville in Antioch, at which time developers and investors were invited to a meeting that was hosted and delivered by community investors. We were an organizer of the event, but we had local investors, and then we had external investors that might have an interest in that area to arrive. But one of the compelling points on that is that there's someone in the area, usually a business person investor, that's providing a real spark of activity in that area.
And I'll say, from a prospect related, if there's a site that fits the need of the prospect, we're certainly submitting that to that company.
Janet Miller has talked often about having build-ready sites, either pads or ground or whatnot, and I assume you all still have an emphasis on maintaining those lists all over the county of where there's land available for office parks or industrial parks or whatever it might be.
Yes, we have a searchable database on our website that we maintain through TVA Sites, which is the back-end program of that, but we keep that database up to date, so if there's ever an area that needs to be, if it's not in there, needs to be in there, we're happy to put that in there.
Thank you.
Councilman Claiborne.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On follow-up on Charlie's question about the other municipalities and counties, if you had a third line on this graph, what would the percentage be? You've got us at 7.5%, so I'm sure it would be just a single line, but do you have any estimate on what the percentage is?
Of what the others contribute?
Yes.
So it'd be 120,500 of the total.
So it would be a less than 0.00 something percent, right?
Exactly.
Let me pull out my phone.
Well, while you're doing that, go ahead. While you're doing that, I'll let you do that, and I'll make a comment here.
It's about half of our total, so it would be about 3%, wouldn't it?
It'd be about 3%.
Yeah.
So we
Okay.
could just fast forward to the comment.
Okay, all right, good. Well, I just wanted to say, and I told the ladies when I came in that I thought the $300,000 is a good investment for the city in terms of what we get. I don't think that there's any reasonable way that we could expect to put in an office in place to do this and provide $300,000 for the personnel and the travel and the office and all that's involved with that. So I think it's a good investment, and I appreciate what your efforts have resulted in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
I will say, with all due respect to Mr. Wiltshire, we do have an office in place, but they couldn't do it alone. We need the partnership between the two to get it done. Councilwoman Dowell.
Thank you. I just wanted to, first of all, just say thank you for all the hard work that you have contributed to helping out the southeast area of our county. It has to be said, we have done extremely well this year, and I appreciate the hard work that the Chamber has put forth to make a lot of those things happen. Just to run down, we've had Aramark move to our area. We recently had a Shurion open in our area, and we can already see the day crowd there. Additionally, the Nashville Predators Ice Hockey Center, recently Drake Software came to our area, and I also participated in the Nashville South Chamber meeting, in which the enthusiasm in the area has definitely increased, and my phone has been ringing. I'm getting more calls and more people taking a second look at the area. So I do believe that those things happen because of, like you said, private investors in the community, along with a strong chamber out advocating and promoting our community, and also Matt Wiltshire, who I stay on quite a bit, but I appreciate all the help that he's done for our area. Two things that I just want to point out. One, about the work IT program. Some communities were not included, and I know I sound like a broken record on this, but when we allocate funding toward the chamber, which I think I wholeheartedly support the $300,000. I would give you more if I could get more support, because it's well worth the dollar investment that we make, I believe. But I do know that all the communities were not listed in the collateral material that was sent out. I know Southeast Nashville, like Antioch, Priest Lake, Smith Springs, our communities were not listed. I don't think I saw Bellevue in there either. So we spent money putting out collateral, and we did not advertise our community. And I share this to say that most of the people employed in IT typically are immigrants. I work in the IT department, and typically those people want to be near the temple that's out in Bellevue, or they want to be near our international corridor out in southeast Nashville. So while we have a vibrant downtown that's doing wonderful, a lot of those people are family friendly and want to be near those two things. So I think we missed an opportunity to highlight two assets of Nashville by not listing those communities. And Priest Lake, I think it was listed in Hermitage, and I'm not still sure about where Priest Lake is. I think it's in our area more so than Hermitage, but it was not highlighted the way it should, and we've had conversations about that. The second thing he touched on is about the ready-made pad sites, and I mentioned this to Rita and you in our conversation about we do have our I-24 corridor available. We have an opportunity to put infrastructure in there, and we spoke about this before, to have sites available, not just for the state, but even for local level, to attract some of the businesses we're seeing go out to some of our surrounding counties. And I think one way that we could partner and help is to look at some of those areas and advocate for more infrastructure improvements. One that I've mentioned to you once before is Crossings Boulevard extension to Old Hickory Boulevard as being an opportunity to open up a nice business site. And then the other one is the chamber working with existing businesses to make sure that they're happy. I know in my district, with a couple of the groups, brand imaging groups specifically, made a decision to retain their business in Davidson County and move down to the Crossings area. And one of the issues we had is some infrastructure issues that I think that engaging with those businesses could help, make them happy and keep them in the area. So those are my things, and I think you've heard them before, but I would hope as we go forward to make sure we include all the communities and continue partnering with communities to make sure, businesses, to make sure that we address any infrastructure improvements and help advocate on your side with us for those. Thank you.
Councilwoman Johnson.
Thank you, Chair Stein. Thank you, Rita and Ralph and everyone here from the Chamber. Your work is very much appreciated in Southeast Davidson County. You've had a tremendous presence since I was elected onto the council in 2011, and what we want to do is continue to support your efforts and build on the momentum that you are placing your efforts on in Southeast Davidson County. I just want to say on behalf of all of my constituents, they appreciate the Chamber's work. We look forward to your continued leadership in helping us with the the efforts in Hickory Hollow, but also along the Murfreesboro Road corridor. Given that we have now put in place a urban design overlay, I think that opens up the door for more opportunities to make that corridor even more viable than it is today. So I just wanted to put that out there that we look forward to continuing to partner with you to look at opportunities along that corridor as well. Thank you.
Ralph, thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you, and thanks for the partnership that we enjoy. Thank you.
Municipal Auditorium.